These are the key components of a successful VA claim. Look, if you do not have these in your VA claim, minus number 4 here, is a non-starter, you are not winning your claim. Okay, I want to be very clear. A lot of people claim things and throw things at the wall. I've even seen some VA lawyers have their clients do this, and they're wasting your time, you're spinning your wheels. I'm going to show you exactly the key components so that you're not going on a wild goose chase. Let's get into it. Number 1 is a diagnosis. If you do not have a medical diagnosis, you are going nowhere fast. Okay, I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. Your claim is trash. It is dead on arrival. Okay, you need a diagnosis, a medical diagnosis for anything. Any claim that you claim, you're going to need a medical diagnosis, period. Number 2, you need a nexus. Now, not to be confused with a nexus letter per se, okay? These are very different. A nexus could be this, and this is really important because I see so many questions on this. For example, a nexus means service connection, okay? That's all it means, service connection. How is this service connected? Let's say that, God forbid, you were in a car accident while on active duty, your active duty contract, okay? Let's say you were hit by a drunk driver at 3 a.m. and you hurt your back. You have a back pain rating now from 3 a.m. A lot of veterans I see, they're trying to prove service connection by saying, oh yes, my back was aggravated, but it happened during PT or something. Guys, if you are already diagnosed while on active duty, your nexus is already implicit. You are implicitly service connected. Guess what? Because on active duty, you're on duty 24 hours, 7 days per week, 365. When you are on active duty, you're on the government's dime because you're government property, okay? Whenever you get a rental car, and if you ding it at 3 a.m., you're still on the hook for it, even though it's not driving hours, even though that the business that rented you the rental car is closed, all right? It's still your custody at that point, and that's the whole point. You are the custody of the government the entire time that you're on active duty. Therefore, if you're diagnosed on active duty, it is an implicit nexus unless you're born with a deformity or what have you. But even then, if something was aggravated by your active duty service, it's implicitly service connected. I hear what you're thinking. What if I was diagnosed well after active duty service? Here is what we would need next. You would need a nexus letter. So a nexus letter is essentially a letter from a doctor, preferably a specialist, stating that, hey, my condition is at least as likely as not to be aggravated or caused by my service-connected condition. This is called a secondary claim, okay? That's outside the scope of this video, but just know that you're going to either need a nexus from being in service, active duty service, and having it diagnosed on active duty service, or you're going to need a nexus letter because you were diagnosed outside of active duty service. Number 3, lay evidence. Lay evidence means personal statements, okay? These are filled out and turned in on Form 21-4138 Bravo. And these are important because guess what? Here at VA Claims Academy, I teach you to maximize your influence. Maximize your influence. Be an influence maximalist. There you go. Because anytime that we are letting other people steer the boat for you, you're not going to like where it ends up. I promise you that. You're going to let some bureaucrat steer the boat for where your VA claim goes by not giving yourself a voice in the process. That's ridiculous. It's going to screw you over and it's going to be bad for your family, okay? So at any point, every single claim, every single diagnosis that we claim, guess what? We're going to write and craft a bulletproof personal statement because here we're not lazy and here we take the process by the horns and exert our influence over it. Because guess what? Tax-free passive income is worth it, okay? We're not cutting corners here with tax-free passive income, the best income on planet Earth. Number 4, this one is optional. DBQs and IMOs, okay? This is essentially more medical evidence. This is a Disability Benefits Questionnaire. It can help narrow things down and help the VA rater get a better feel for what they should rate you at. Same thing with an IMO, which is an independent medical opinion. This is a doctor that should be familiar with your claim, that is essentially giving a medical opinion and attesting to certain facts that should give the VA rater an insight as to better what they should rate you as. Now here's the problem. I see a lot of vets going and paying $2,000 for these DBQ farms and these IMO farms for a 15-minute virtual appointment, and they don't even have a good personal statement. Guys, what are we doing, right? What are we doing? This is the foundations. Number 1, 2, and 3 is the foundational layer. You gotta nail the basics first before you start getting fancy with DBQs and IMOs and paying thousands of dollars for virtual telehealth that is getting looked at right now by authorities. So be very careful with this. This is cool. This is icing on the cake. Nail the first 3, and that's the main message that I want to get to you today. Nail the first 3. You need a diagnosis, you need a nexus, and you need lay evidence. And that is the foundational pillars for how to win your VA claim. If this helped, go ahead and like this and share it to your Facebook, share it where veterans need it, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.